call to order this regular meeting of the Monument Town Council, Monday, May 18th. Please rise for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Erickson, will you take roll, please?
Mayor LaKind,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem King,
Here.
Councilmember Smith,
Here.
Councilmember Furia,
Present.
Councilmember Chronic,
Here.
Councilmember Abbott, here, Councilmember Kimple.
Here.
Yep.
Any disclosures of conflicts of interest?
No, Mayor.
Okay. Before us, we have an agenda and a consent agenda. Any modifications to the agenda? If not, I will look for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda and the agenda as presented.
Second.
Give me just a second.
Okay, that motion passes 7-0. First up, we have public comments for items not on the agenda. Individuals attending in person may raise their hand to indicate their desire to comment. Individuals attending via Teams may raise their hand digitally to comment via connected devices. Please lower your hand when finished with your comments. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. Is there anybody here in Town Hall that would like to make a public comment? Yes.
So we were just dropped off the public ones today and we have about 900 of them to give away. So lots of people will be coming into Downtown Monument, but if you're interested in getting any, they're free to the public and anybody can come get them. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else in Town Hall would like to make? Yes.
Good evening, Council. Haley Chapin with Tri Lakes Cares. I just wanted to give an update and a report on our event from last week, Taste of Tri Lakes Cares. Thank you to all of you that were in attendance and those that made contributions. The night was very successful with over 400 attendees and several restaurants from our community that came out to support our mission and our cause. It looks like with preliminary numbers that were just over $150,000 raised from the community on that evening alone. So that's a great success for us. It definitely exceeded our budget and our expectations, and we're very thrilled to report that. So just wanted to say thank you again for attending and supporting our events.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Need to find we need to find someone new to win too. Same guy won 2 years in a row, but the sausage is good. Anybody else here in Town Hall? Come on down. Will anybody online? Okay. Sir, if you can state your name and where you live, and you will see that they're going to put a 3-minute clock up for you.
Okay, challenge accepted. Hello, my name is Adam Frank. I live in Monument at 193 Pewter Lane. Council members, thank you for hearing me speak and for considering my proposal. I live less than a mile from the lake. I use the lake on a regular, weekly, sometimes even daily basis.
Sir, this is for items that are not on the not on the agenda. When we get to that agenda item, you are more than welcome to come up and speak.
Okay, I'll see you in a little bit.
Cool. Thank you.
It's the next thing up.
It's the next thing up, so don't go far. Almost. Will, anybody? Okay. All right. And if there's nobody else here that would like to speak to something that's not on the agenda, we'll close public hearing and we'll move on to our public comment. We'll move on to our presentation. We have Justin Style from Tallboy Marketing to share with us what is supposed to become an annual birthday bash. Justin, if you'd like to.
Good evening, everybody, council members. And this is Eric Dutois, who is my partner with Salt Creek Productions on the event. Basically, we just wanted to come in and inform you guys of the genesis of what we want to do as the best small town birthday party around, with this year being the country's 250th birthday, Colorado's 150th birthday. We started looking at some things and we had an opportunity to bring a touring band to town on June 4th. I had mentioned it to Miss Vandenhoek and she said, that's right about the town's birthday. And then I got on and looked and was like, okay, it's June 2nd. And then June 3rd was the first papers. So let's have a birthday party. Well, we couldn't, it cost us way too much to get the touring band, but we had an opportunity to get Wirewood Station and another band from Nashville. I'm originally from Nashville. I've been here over 6 years now and have put on lots of concerts in Nashville and different events. We had 2 events last weekend. But so then met Eric a couple years ago and was like, this is the guy that I want to do the events with. He knows the sound. He was going to bring up the quality. We're going to do a wonderful event. So at Limbach Park on June the 4th, we're going to come out and from 5 to 10, we're going to have Monuments 147th birthday party. And we've got Joey Fletcher Band from Nashville playing. Wirewood Station is headlining. We've got food trucks, different things. There'll be some little surprises. We're going to have some co-mingling with some of the bands and guys playing together and some fun stuff. But we didn't have time. I'm used to some of the events with like lots of beer and things like that. We wanted to do a family-friendly event that was just like, hey, this is to show what a great town and what a great community that we have, and just a great celebration of that. So we got together and put this together, and then we would also like to eventually make this a partnership with the town and grow this into 148th, 149th, and then obviously really blow it out when we hit 150 as a town. So that's kind of like the plan. And if we can go on and put together a really great first event, that's what we would like to do, and build from this. And we're going to pay for this ourselves and then work on building up to a nonprofit and hopefully partner with the town in the future. And if we outgrow the current location, we would like to talk with you guys about how we could make this thing work. And then Eric is here on any technical questions that you guys may have, but that's basically the gist of it.
Cool. Any questions? Mr. Smith, any questions out there from Jersey?
None from me, but I think this is an absolutely wonderful idea. Thank you guys for putting this together. I think it's going to be great.
You're welcome. We're really excited about it too.
Yeah, yes.
Tough crowd in here.
No, not really.
I was pretty nervous about this.
Wait, who's got the stuff to throw at them?
Yeah. Oh,
Oh, wait.
Yeah, no.
That's why there's raw tomatoes.
All right. Then I expect that we will obviously be talking to you between now and that day, and we will see you on June 4th,
Yes.
weather cooperating.
Oh, it's going to cooperate.
Okay, it is it's snowing today, so it's.
Yeah, it is Monument. That's all
All right, well, thank you very much.
right.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
guys.
Thank you.
Okay, first up, we have a public hearing item, ordinance 13/2026, an ordinance adding section 12.28.125 to the Monument Municipal Code requiring parking permits at Monument Lake. Ashley, you're going to walk us through this one?
Madeline and I are going to do it together. So she's going to start. Yes.
Well, good evening, council. Last year, you might recall that we started exploring additional revenue options for the town. And one of the options that we explored was paid parking at Monument Lake due to the increased activity, increased maintenance, and increased amenities that we have added to the lake. So we have presented to this council during a study session, as well as the Citizen Service Level Advisory Committee, otherwise known as CSLAC, some options about what it would look like to implement paid parking at the lake. Based on the recommendations from both of those sessions, we have moved forward with a potential implementation plan for implementing those paid parking options. They would be kiosks at the lake, and the revenue would go towards maintenance of the bathrooms, the road, the fishing pier, and other maintenance items specifically at the lake. This would be to implement parking physically at the lake where there's parking spots, but also at the overflow lot on Mitchell Avenue as well. The rate would be $5.25 a day, which is pretty similar to what Palmer Lake charges for parking at the reservoir. That is kind of the backstory of how we came to this conclusion. I'm happy to answer any questions, and then our town attorney is also available for any questions on the ordinance or the resolution before you tonight.
Okay, council has any questions or comments?
I have a question. Has any consideration or further consideration been given to stickers for monument residents?
So we did discuss that. What the CSLAC recommended was minimal operating expenses for the town, since we were trying to consider this to increase revenues. So in order to implement a permit system for residents, we would have to create the permit as well as dedicate some staff time to apply for that. So at this time, we did not put that recommendation forward for creating a permit just for residents.
Thank you.
Could it be just a sticker that somebody comes in and has a proof of residency and then just puts a sticker on their window?
It could be, and that all of those are possible. It still would take time to manage that program, time and personnel. So based on the recommendation from the CSLAC committee, we did not consider that at this time, but if that is what council wishes, that's something that we could continue to look into.
Something else to consider is instead of hard copy, do digital. But again, there's a cost associated with developing an app, but perhaps something to consider in the future. See how this goes, and then if we want to do an app for monument residents where they can log in and
register every car they have?
I don't know. I don't know how the app would work.
And I think we talked about this. They would need license plate readers to
Yeah.
confirm, and that
Okay.
raised the cost considerably when they were showing us all the
Okay.
different options.
Okay.
I think the options that you guys went with were the least expensive to implement and
Correct.
manage for the time being.
For the
Okay.
time being, yes.
And that later, should this become a successful program, we could go with the LPRs.
Yeah. Okay.
Because that also helped, if I'm not mistaken, with the enforcement. Okay,
Can we also
Oh,
talk about how it's going to be enforced?
Right, so due to staffing limitations, there won't be a dedicated person to like a parking attendant that will be enforcing this. It would just be probably through whatever services as PD is able to, as well as potentially when we do hire a code enforcement officer, they might be able to, but there will not be a position dedicated to lake parking enforcement. We just don't have the manpower for that right now.
Madeline, I had a question. So this ordinance is to add the section into the municipal code about parking permits. And you said it's $5.25 per day. What about the kiosk? Is that the same thing?
Yes, the
That-
kiosk would charge the person parking at the lake $5.25 a day. So that's the cost of parking. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be like hourly, like a metered, so they wouldn't park there all day.
No, the kiosk doesn't have a meter. It's just similar to what you might see in Palmer Lake or even Manitou Springs, where you can make them hourly, but we chose just the day fee, the day rate.
That's really not bad. I mean, in my public honest opinion, but I'm not there like that often, right? Okay, thank you for clarifying.
Okay, Mr. Smith, you're remote. Do you have anything you want to add?
No, I was just gonna say, I like the comments. I think the kiosk is it seems like it makes the most sense initially. And then I think we should make it a point to reevaluate maybe after 12 months or so, to give consideration to like Councilmember Chronic mentioned, a sticker for monument residents or 80132 residents, something like of that nature.
This is a public hearing, so we are going to open this up to the public. If there's anybody from the public who would like to speak for or against this ordinance, now would be the time for you to come up and let us hear what your testimony is. No, Adam? Is there anybody named Adam in the room?
Hello again. My name is Adam Frank. I live in Monument at 193 Pewter Lane. I live less than a mile from the lake. I use the lake on a regular, weekly, sometimes even daily basis. Some evenings I might even drive down to fish for an hour or less. It's one of the best parts about our home, how close we are to the lake. The lake is my favorite thing about living here in Colorado, here in Monument in particular, especially at the address where I live. Regarding your consideration of a parking permit at Monument Lake, I am technically not against that effort. I understand thought has gone into bringing this consideration forward, and as a public servant and leader myself, I respect the complexities and needs within the city government that those in it understand better than I. Is it annoying to navigate kiosks and pay daily fees in order to access public amenities? Yes. Just ask people who try to hike the beautiful trail in Palmer Lake when they want to see the upper reservoir. However, I also understand there are other factors driving this decision, such as improving traffic flow, managing capacity constraints, and funding maintenance of the lake. But here is my proposition, and I sincerely hope you will consider it as an easy, effective, and sensible add-on as it relates to implementation if you move forward with parking permits. If you install a kiosk and charge a daily rate to park, then fine. But please also create a yearly pass that people can purchase so that regular visitors to the lake, such as myself, don't have to mess with daily charges and the inconvenience of kiosk check-in. In fact, if the annual pass is fair in price, it will not only satisfy people like me, it might even generate, to be honest, more revenue than daily charges. If you can give a discounted rate on the annual pass to Monument residents, then great. That might not be a bad idea. Therefore, this idea, an annual pass in lieu of having to pay daily at a kiosk, again as an add-on, is in my opinion a win-win. So please consider it. I personally would pay for an annual pass. I don't want to deal with a kiosk and the hassle of daily payments. This proposition is no different than how fishing licenses work in Colorado and in most states in the nation. If you want to pay daily, that is, a one-day fishing license, you can. But if you fish on a regular basis, you can avoid the inconvenience of regular check-ins and payments to fish if you buy an annual fishing license. It is also no different than how the toll roads work. Similarly, in many states, you can buy annual passes to visit national and state parks, or you can pay as you enter. Like the toll roads, fishing licenses, and national and state park passes, please consider an annual pass option. And yes, for purchase, so that regular visitors to the lake, let alone residents, can have a more convenient option than an annoying kiosk with daily fees. Again, if you move forward with the kiosk and daily charges, that's totally fine. Please consider an annual pass. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Other folks in town hall that would like to speak for or against? Terry.
Good evening, Council. Terry Hayes of the Tri-Lake Chamber. First of all, I like the annual pass idea. Hadn't thought about that, but I'm just gonna say I like that idea. I understand the idea of having to get more money into the community. I just want just a couple of things to consider as you talk about this. One is we always talk about how much of a challenge it is to get people into downtown Monument. With Palmer Lake being 7 minutes away, I think a lot of the fishermen, I think a lot of the people that paddleboard, I think a lot of the people that use that lake, they will head up to Palmer Lake because it's a bigger lake and it is a way to not pay. So I just want to say that there might be some considerations, that there might be some lost revenue from people that come into downtown Monument. I totally understand, especially the early morning fishermen. They are not going to restaurants, they're not going shopping, but the other people do, especially during the summertime. So it's something to consider that it might shift people into a different lake. Also considering the neighborhood, I don't know if it's legal. I'm assuming it is for any neighborhood, people to park on the streets of the neighborhood, but I do think Lake of the Rockies neighborhood might have a challenge with it too. And even if it's legal, you're probably going to get a lot of calls and have a challenge with that. So those are just two things I just want you to consider, you know, whatever decision you make. Thanks.
Thank you.
Anybody else in town hall that would like to speak for or against this?
Good evening. Eddie Jones, Lake of the Rockies, 17663 Lakeside Drive. The biggest thing regarding this potential of charging people to park at the lake is the Lake of the Rockies. I am the president of the Metro District, and I know that we're going to have a huge issue when it comes to parking on the street. And I hear that we don't even have staff to look through and make sure that people are parking in the parking lot, much less people that would be parking in Lake of the Rockies. Would it be legal for people to park on the street right outside of Lake of the Rockies? No. Would it be legal to park in Lake of the Rockies? I don't know that we can do, if we can do anything about that, put no parking signs, no lake access. Something like that would be ideal. And maybe even put a gate, a coded gate maybe at the lake access from Lake of the Rockies, I think would be ideal. We do not have the budget to do that. So yeah, that's what I'd like to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Hello. I also represent the Lake of the Rockies and the Metro Board. I had a couple follow-up questions, actually. Jennifer Adams. Have we done a traffic analysis? Do we have any idea the budget that we're hoping that this will change for us by charging? Do we have any idea what that looks like for this year, the 12 months that we're talking about discussing it, and what we're hoping the revenue will be?
Would you like me to respond?
Sure.
We anticipate conservatively somewhere between $26,000 and $53,000 a year.
Okay. When we're talking about charging people, it specifically says that you don't want to charge for the 4th of July or town events when we know that we have an overflow of people. Is there a reason why we are all of a sudden we're charging for everyday life, but then when we know there's going to be a lot and we could surge that price to actually bring in more revenue? Have we considered that adjustment?
That was a recommendation. Be changed depending on what council would like to do.
Okay. And then to comment on Eddie, I handle the fiscal responsibility of our board. We do not have the budget. And I know that this is hoping to go into place June 1st as a start date. Before then, I'm asking that you guys put in no parking signs or boulders that we seem to love along the front of our development. During 4th of July, Mr. Archuleta and I have already had conversations about this. I just want it on public document that we're actually going to do it. No parking signs, rocks, during the 4th of July, we spend between $5,000 and $7,000 every single year to correct the landscaping, the sprinklers, and all the other damage done to our parking that everyone parks along that road because there is no parking. I see that happening very quickly with the lake. So I'm hoping that we can make that adjustment. We're willing to work with you guys. I don't want to wait the 12 months. We're already having residents complain. So if we can have a working relationship that we're constantly having a conversation of, okay, we need to mediate, we need to change, we need to readdress, we're open to it. But I definitely want to make sure that for my budget alone, that front of the neighborhood immediately gets no parking signs and boulders.
Just a question, that front of your neighborhood, the land belongs to the Metro District?
It belongs we split it. We maintenance it for you guys. You have it. We actually maintenance all the property in our neighborhood that belongs to you.
Really?
Really.
We'll be discussing that.
So if we could figure out, that's what I'm saying, like, we're happy to do it, but if we can have the help so that we're not spending more of our budget on it, that would be lovely.
Okay, thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think maybe it might be a good idea, at least for the comments that have already been made, if we'd explain what the composition of CSLAC was and what the purposes were for that particular committee.
More detail on what was presented to CSLAC?
Well, just the composition of it and why it was formed, because with this particular item came out of a general discussion. It wasn't a targeted discussion.
Correct. The reason the Citizen Service Level Committee was created was to basically form a citizen committee of how to look at town finances, since we were experiencing some decline in revenue, and how we could look at expenses and look at operating revenues in order to help balance the town's budget. So we looked at a number of different items during last year's budget process. The committee meets regularly, and we continue to look at those items and will as we prepare for next year's budget as well.
Thank you.
All right, well, we've had several, if there's anybody else that would like to speak, oh, come on down.
I'm Julie Demarath from Lake of the Rockies. I live at 17255 Leisure Lake Drive. And I just wanted to voice our concerns about the parking. We already have people that park across from our house and they walk down to the lake down on the path. And so I just was looking to see what the thought process was for how are we going to stop the parking in the neighborhood, or get it from being too congested when they don't want to pay at the lake and they come down and park in the neighborhood.
Thank you. Will, anybody online?
There are no hands raised, Mayor.
Okay. If there's no one else in town hall that would like to speak to this item, we will close anybody? Public hearing item. And bring it back to the council. I mean, I know that what the intent was, and we discussed this at length. Certainly, I am very concerned about Lake of the Rockies and what residual or regular parking is going to do to that neighborhood.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think we have a lot more to discuss about this topic before we were to, I mean, I can't stop the council from making a motion to vote, but it would be my vote to continue this. That would be my suggestion. And if the council's in agreement, then we take another month to hash out some of these details. If we need to have another work session, we can have another work session. But there's some things in here that I think are concerning, and I don't want to. I know what we're trying to do, just so it's clear. The maintenance of the road and the parking area around the lake, this is to help subsidize, not completely pay for, the amount of effort that is required by Public Works to keep that area clean. and maintained. I was just out there 2 weeks ago, I think it was, for the cleanup. And it's pretty disgusting what is left behind. Broken bottles, lots of dead fish, things that are sharp and dangerous that people leave behind. And, we go out there for free a couple times, but Public Works is out there all the time doing it. And this would help offset those costs. So, but I think we should continue this into June, and we have a workshop in between if possible, get some heads together on this.
Yeah, for me, these are legitimate concerns for sure. Things that I didn't think about, that's for sure. So I'm glad you guys are here. My intention would be to, I first off, I would like to see if monument residents can get a pass or a sticker or something. And I would, my intention would be for people who come to visit to use the lake for free. That costs us money to maintain and get to fish for free and all of that. That they would somehow contribute to that. And I don't know how you get there without, some kind of a fee. But the residents of Monument pay for the lake already. So I would like to see if somehow that makes sense that we can do that. And if it ultimately doesn't make sense that we do anything, then maybe we don't do anything. It's hard to say, but I am concerned about Lake of the Rockies. I walk through there a lot because I walk to the lake from my house, and I use those back trails to go down there, so I know where the access points are. I'd like to figure out if there's something we can do to prevent that. And we probably can't, but I'd like to at least look at it.
Well, excuse me, I'd like to just get some clarification. Are our CSLAC meetings open to the public?
They are, yes.
Then perhaps it would be worthwhile, because I received an email today about this very same subject. And I wasn't 100% certain, but I thought they were open to the public. And I think, if there's a real concern, that would be a place, because the group that has been doing this for months probably need to hear some of this, because Mayor Pro Tem King and I have been there for all the meetings, and this never came up. This is good stuff, and we probably need to hear it to consider it.
When's the next meeting?
It's the second Thursday of every month at 4:00.
Okay, so that's the 11th.
Correct. And they're right here.
Our second meeting is the 15th. I don't think that's enough time. We could continue it to July. So that would give time for both a workshop and the CSLAC meeting.
Yeah.
So that would put us out to July 6th.
We're gonna have to look at the cost if you're gonna do any kind of repairs or moving rocks or putting
Well, let's not,
post or anything like that.
I think we have, yeah, I know, but we have licensing to understand. I think the passes,
Yeah.
we need to look at, probably need to go back to some of the drawing board. Laura, you went through with the vendor, right? What the capabilities are can we find out if there's some more granularity we can do, an annual for residents, and let's discuss what that looks like, because personally, I'm not inclined to give it to the whole Tri-Lakes area. They don't live in the town. They don't pay property taxes. I know that they shop here, but the people who actually live in the town limits should have some benefit to it.
First dibs.
Like Steve said,
Yeah.
we've already paid
Right.
technically, so.
I mean, as this stands, I would be a hard no, but I like what was brought up.
Yes.
The idea, the concept, I would like to see some kind of research and having the residents have the capability of having the first opportunity to get a year permit. One of the questions I had is how many parking spaces are we talking about?
I think there's like 90, isn't there?
You mean between the two?
Yeah,
between the two.
Between the two, the
Yeah.
upper and lower lot?
I think it's 90.
Public Works is here.
90.
91.
Spots.
So maybe this takes a couple months more to
Yeah.
get some workshops, some more data, look at the annual passes capability. And what discounts may apply and still have the option for the daily rate for those people who don't live here, right? And we just broaden the scope of what this could be.
I agree. I think we need to reassess the annual pass, the no parking signs, and preventing them from parking in that neighborhood. I looked it up on my phone. It is very close. So thank you guys for coming tonight. And also holiday parking fees. So yeah, I'd like to table this and maybe have a working group, Madeline, in the evening. So I'm assuming,
4th of July is going to be tough.
Yeah.
Because I live in West Oak Ridge by Adam over here, and we have people park in there.
sure.
4th of July, so.
Well, and is this going to be instituted before then? I'm just talking like future.
I'm just thinking, well, it probably won't be, but I'm just thinking that those 91 spaces are just going to be pushed someplace else on 4th of July, because there's
We can
no,
discuss
there's
it.
nowhere
I'm
to
not
park.
saying that we
Right.
do that. I'm just saying I'd like to find out more information
Sure.
and see how we came up with that, or if there's some medium ground that we can reach. I do like the idea of the annual pass, and we just have to consider the neighbors around the lake that are impacted, that could be impacted. So, thank you.
And there is a study that Ms. Hogan presented regarding all of the costs associated with the various options. Is that available to the public?
It's been part of the packet that was presented to CSLAC. So it's part of that packet.
Yeah, and I mean, it's out there. The information is there. It's a matter of getting to it or making people aware of where it is. Just to look at all, because there's a lot of research that's already been done. This wasn't, throwing darts at a dartboard.
So you comfortable with 2 months out?
Yeah, so we'll bring this back at a future meeting in July or whenever we can get the,
I'll make a motion to continue this till July 20th.
okay.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
Move to continue the ordinance.
I already, I did it.
And a second?
Yeah, we're good.
I'll go back to sleep.
All right.
Wake up Laura.
Now she's got a stand-up routine going.
She's here all week.
All right, so unanimous, motion passes 7-0 to continue this to July 20th. This gives us a couple of CSLAC sessions and some working group meetings. For those that attended, thank you very much.
Yes.
We're gonna hear you, and I would
Thank you.
suggest you continue to pay attention to when these meetings will be, so this is going to be discussed, so we don't miss anything. Okay, next up, we have resolution, we're gonna have to continue that one too. Resolution 33, 2026. That's the resolution for the permits. So
Table that too.
we'll continue.
Okay,
So anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion. Sorry, I'll make a motion to move resolution number 33-2026, a resolution requiring parking permits at Monument Lake, establishing the parking permit area fees and fines to also July 20th?
Yep.
Would that work?
Second.
Okay,
Motion and a second. That one passes that one is continued 7-0 also. Will, you're just jumping ahead of the game. You were not called to the front yet.
Sit down till you're called.
Yes.
He's AI. He's not.
Oh, he's not really here. Okay. Next up, 34, 2026, a resolution to approve the Town of Monument use policy for artificial intelligence. You are up now.
Mayor and council, I appreciate
All
your
right,
time.
thanks for that presentation, Will. We'll be.
Mayor, enough.
Jeez.
Mayor and council, I appreciate your time this evening. I know we did a workshop a couple of weeks back, and tonight's resolution reflects a proactive step to ensure the town of Monument adopts artificial intelligence in a responsible, secure, and transparent manner. As AI tools become more integrated into daily operations, this policy establishes clear governance, safeguards sensitive information, reinforces human accountability for all AI-assisted work. It positions the town to take advantage of modern technology while maintaining public trust, legal compliance, and alignment with our strategic priority for responsible community development. So I'm here tonight having you review what we put forth and would like to have this resolution passed.
Questions, comments? Everybody read through everything? I have a couple of things, but I'll defer to anybody else who's got.
Is this an AI generated policy?
Is Will an AI generated policy?
This policy?
I did utilize Microsoft Copilot to assist with looking at over 7 other towns in Colorado, and then actually a couple from California to help develop this. Because as I've said before, I'm not always that good with English. So I try to utilize the tools that I have available to me to help me with doing a better job.
Okay, I'll go. So I'm curious about, and I guess I have some concerns about, I get using Copilot, totally agree using Copilot. The statement about using other unidentified tools, and it being approved conditionally by staff is concerning. And then, because you sort of combined the statements of unapproved tools into the approval policy, like the section that's on approvals. So I almost think that should be separated, like where there's a statement that says, here's what you're allowed to use, and here are what we identified as you not being able to use. And if you're not able to use it, then it should not be used at all for any reason. Also, what tool are you going to implement that will inform you if a member of the town staff is using AI from an unauthorized tool paid for by them or not?
Well, to be honest with you, there's almost an impossible capability of being able to track that other than to use Microsoft Purview, which is part of Office 365, to see what users and town employees, people are using our internet, what URLs that they're going to, what websites they're going to. We could do and look at reports and investigate if we're seeing, a particular site that looks like that is an AI type site that isn't either approved or is part of our policy.
Okay. Thoughts, comments?
I have one clarification question for our town attorney. Now I reading through the AI piece in, where is it? 1.04 policy principles. Security and privacy, confidential, sensitive, must never be included in AI prompts. And I'm glad that's in there. There's a court case, US v. Hepner, and I don't expect a legal review today, but that's something that we're looking as contractors for government, because that ruled basically that any free open AI use is not covered by attorney-client privilege. And so how does again, I'm not looking for legal review tonight, but is,
Give it to you.
well, and
She can use AI to give it to you.
yeah. How's that court case, how could that court case affect us towns that use free AI for anything that's not sensitive? Is that tilting at windmills, or is that something that we need to be concerned? Is that enough covered that we're not going to use sensitive or private information, but if we're going to use it for, I don't know, contract, like to do, that's not sensitive.
Copilot's included in a paid-for license, though. So we would be paying for its use through the 365 licensing. The problem would be is if somebody went to a free one,
A free one, that's where,
you know, Grok or
Anthropic.
Anthropic,
Yeah.
and they used their free limited one and they did something they weren't supposed to do.
that's where we get opened to,
Right.
okay.
Or is there any issues with copyright? Somebody goes out and looks for information for something and it's becomes a copyright violation. I only bring this up because my wife writes books and she's gotten settlement checks from Anthropic because of that. Just because she's part of it, you know, she's an author. So, and it's copyright violations. Is there any kind of issues there? Do you know?
I mean, I can't speak to go into detail related to copyright. That would be something I would have to go back and do some research on to get you an answer.
I mean, this is a moving target, right? It's just going to be constantly evolving.
Yes, that's one of the reasons in the policy that I put biannual, because I think this is going to constantly be changing and adjusting, and we may get direction down from the state. We may get direction down from federal once they start pushing some governance. Right at this time, there's nothing federally that's really showing any clear governance down to the state. So yes, this is something that is going to become part of our lives, just like the internet did back in the late 80s, early 90s. So
Yeah, I'm not opposed to it. I mean, it's a good tool. You just.
Yeah. But I think it's important that we do have a policy and we set a foundational, and I think this is a strong foundational policy to get us started. And as we mature and as we progress and as we either see things coming down from above or we start seeing changes in AI, that we would immediately, I would immediately go to the town manager and the leadership and say, this is a concern, or this is something new. We need to sit down and we need to make a decision whether we need to go back to our policy and adjust it.
You brought up a good.
Yeah,
point
your
about the-
question. I was gonna, this is pretty standard in the policies I've seen, and I'm with you, Will, on the fact that this is gonna be a moving target for a little bit. And as long as people are a little more cautious initially and it's highlighted to staff, then this is pretty
Okay.
standard.
You bring up a good point though about the copyright stuff. Is there anything in here? Cause I don't see it. You didn't put anything in here that says no copyrighted work content can be copied into town policy I mean, we don't want to be taking product from other places that have copyrighted the work and AI has provided it as.
I did not put direct verbiage in the policy related to copyright.
Is there anything
But
in
I-
there that vaguely references other people's work?
It says protecting confidential, sensitive, and non-public information from improper disclosure. I feel like.
That's not the
Well,
same as
so-
taking somebody else's work product and
It's
putting it in.
it's a large language model, and that's what I was saying about my wife, because it pulls copyrighted material on its own. And I don't know. I mean, you don't even know that you're doing it. So,
I mean, I would be glad to follow up and give you some more detail related to copyright. I know when I researched about what Copilot Basic, which is what we get with our license, is the Copilot Basic version. There's nothing that goes in and out of our environment, I can't go and say, give me all the data in our on our SharePoint environment that has this particular word. It doesn't have that capability. It can't go out and pull things off of our file server. It doesn't have that we would have to pay for the higher paid version. The basic keeps it all within our environment and limits what we can and can't do. But I would be glad to, I think the verbiage in there does cover copyright, but I did not use the word copyright in any of the verb. I tried to keep it with, I tried to keep that limited, but I would be glad to go back and revisit that if you feel that that's important.
Well, there is in section 1.01 purpose and scope, the last sentence says policy establishes requirements governing the town's use of generative AI to reduce legal, ethical, and operational risks, including inaccurate outputs, bias, misuse of copyrighted material, and records management obligation. But like Steve said, sometimes you don't know if you're even using something that is, but that's all
Yeah,
I could
you're
see in
probably
here.
not. And that's why I say it's a moving target. I mean,
Yeah.
this is going to work itself out over time for sure.
I have three things. The first thing is there appears to be an undefined group. We've got staff and we've got other, and other are elected appointed officials, interns, volunteers, blah, blah, blah. But then further, as it moves through the policy, it isolates staff and doesn't include the other category. And I'm just wondering if that was an oversight or if that's intentional.
No, it's intentional because our day-to-day work, we would be, but the others and what it defines as others may have limited time where they're connecting and using our materials, using like committees. They don't necessarily have the licensing that like the town council has. Whereas the town council has a standard version of Office 365. The planning commission, they do have exchange licenses, but they don't have Office 365. So they have limited capabilities of using Copilot for work. Can't stop them from doing it outside of our peer review. That's why it kind of goes into more detail related to the employees, because they may be living and breathing it, and the council may be living and breathing it when you're doing day-to-day council type work.
Right. The second question that I have is, there's a suggestion, actually, I think it's more than a suggestion, that there is a tagline at the end of certain documents that says reviewed by the overall disclosure statement. Is there a reason why we can't say approved by? Here's my point. I can say I reviewed this. I might not really have read it for anything other than just looking at the words or looking at the document. So is that technically a review? And I think the disclosure is intended to leave someone with the impression that somebody actually looked at it, read it, and quote, approved it.
You're making a valid point. I felt that the verbiage, the approval, because we're not experts in AI yet either. It's more of using our tools and our skills as leadership and supervisors within the town that we're reviewing, and we'll throw a flag up and talk to as a group, leadership group, if we have a question. That's the reason why I didn't put approved, because we are still learning AI ourselves. There may be a point where if we develop certifications or we develop certain things where the word approval may be better down the road, but that's the reason why I didn't put approved.
Is there any legal difference between reviewed and approved?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're right. Anybody can say I've reviewed this and that's one thing, but if you've reviewed and approved it, that's means something else typically.
And my final is, you're gonna love this one. Because Ashley just mentioned biannual. Is that twice a year? Or is that every other month?
Every 2 years.
Or every 2 years? That's what I meant.
That's not biannual. That's biennial. I looked it up. It's two different words.
Okay,
So biannual is twice a year.
okay. Well, and that's what I assumed. However,
'Cause
you
I
know,
wanted
again,
to-
for clarity.
I wanted to make sure that we weren't just allowing this thing to go off for 2 years
Right.
and we were forgetting about it.
So biannual?
Yeah, just
Okay.
GPT.
So I have one other question.
I'm done.
I have one other question. Is there any risk of exceeding token usage that would cost the town extra money?
Not that I saw.
Okay. I've read recently over a lot of these big companies, their AI bills have gone really through the roof because everybody's using it for everything and then they're exceeding their token usage.
So Pilot Basic has some
Yeah.
pretty severe restrictions.
Okay.
Yeah, so Copilot Basic is part of our monthly subscription. Actually, we do a yearly subscription to save money, a certain amount. But yes, there's nothing, there's no limitation related to, there's no, I looked to see if there was fine print that if you go over a certain amount of use that they will start reaching out and asking for more money. I did not find anything when
They'll
I was
probably just
researching
shut
that.
you down, would be my guess, and give you 24 hours notice before you can ask another question.
I mean, can this be one of the resolutions that we review like every 6 months? I mean, I think it's changing that quickly. And
Well,
then,
if that's the request. That's part of the resolution that it's going to be
is it like a
looked at twice a year.
twice a year? That was your, yeah. Okay.
Sounds like we need to have a little bit of a language tweak on a couple things. Can we bring it back in 2 weeks or whenever the next meeting is? I think it's fine, but let's just get the discussion on,
The review and the approved,
review and approved
figure it out, yeah.
and what the punishments are, flogging or.
Do we really think that's necessary? I would be remiss if I didn't call out the fact that I feel like this is just a little bit of micromanagement. This started out as a blurb in the employee handbook, and now we have an ordinance. So it just seems like we're going a little bit deep in the weeds here with something that is evolving and new, and I think staff is fully capable of dealing with this, as it comes at them. That's just my personal feeling.
No, I
No,
agree
no
with
offense
you,
intended.
Chad. I think we should just go ahead with it.
Then go ahead and make a motion do what you guys want to do.
You just want to add
We
approved
can,
and review?
we can change it, in
I mean, is there anything?
6
else?
months.
Right. Is there anything else that needs to be added besides reviewed and approved?
I thought there was something else. I wanted to see them separate the authorized and what's not authorized. But that can be done at a later time too. It's
Yes,
just
in terms of the AI tools,
Yeah.
the specific, yeah,
Well, it just seemed like it was clumping it together.
gotcha, okay.
Will, I had a question.
Yes.
Is there like metrics that show how many employees are using it?
Yes, I can actually, Office 365 has an application called Purview
Oh,
that I
nice.
can provide statistics. It's been a while since I did, but I did provide the town manager and leadership with some basic, I'd say probably maybe 5 months ago.
Okay. I mean,
But
I'm
I'd be
just
glad
curious if
to show to you.
it would be neat to see if people were really using it on the daily basis or as needed or whatever, like, or people may not like it or trust it. I don't know.
And I can actually add that. You see the metrics that I provide to you monthly related to tickets.
Yeah.
I could add that as a metric that you see monthly, just so you can see if there's a trend of usage and that. So
I'd like that. Thank
and
you.
then I can mature it based on what you like and what you see.
Good.
And just metrics and just in general use. We don't need
Yeah, we don't need
specifics
anything
of
detailed.
who does what when. Just-
Yeah, it would
just
be
in general.
very basic, number of,
We have 5 uses of AI this
Yeah.
week.
Yeah,
whatever.
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will get that together.
No, you can
Yeah.
vote as it is.
We're gonna review it in 6
Unless-
months again.
Unless our attorney says otherwise.
No, I mean, I think you can review, you can approve it and we'll just keep
Iterating.
as necessary. Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay.
All right. I'll make a.
I'd like to make a motion.
Oh,
Go ahead.
Chad.
Make a motion to approve resolution number 34 tag 2026, a resolution to approve the town and monument use policy for artificial intelligence.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. The motion passes 7-0. Thanks, Will.
Appreciate your feedback. Thank you very much.
Next up, resolution 35, 2026, a resolution adopting the 4,262 page 2026 Stormwater Master Plan.
And good. If you wanna, I'll start reading. If you wanna.
We did discuss this at dinner tonight, that we are going to read this into the record in triplicate.
In triplicate. All right. I'll start.
What music would you like in the background? Well, good evening. So Noah Demers is from B3 is here with me tonight to answer any technical questions. This was I brought this before you on April 20th as an introduction to the draft document. This is our Stormwater Master Plan. It's an update to our 2006 Stormwater Master Plan, which is it's designed to guide stormwater infrastructure planning, maintenance, regulatory compliance, and capital investment over the next 10 to 20 years. And it's being done at the same time. It was started and being done at the same time as our Monument 2040 Comprehensive Plan update. This because you'll see much of the language will cross from one document to the other. Tonight, I'll be asking you to consider adopting the final version of this document and make it actually a component of the comprehensive plan, so we can use that for development guidance as well as other infrastructure planning. The Stormwater Master Plan responds to current development trends, increased impervious surfaces, aging infrastructure, evolving regulations, recent storm events, and growing community concern about flooding and drainage. Specifically, the objectives addressed in the Stormwater Master Plan is flood risk reduction, regulatory compliance, environmental protection, infrastructure planning and maintenance, and climate change resiliency and region-wide coordination. Since the April 20th meeting, the town has received comments from the town engineer, the Fountain Creek Watershed District, and the United States Air Force Academy. Where was appropriate, the Stormwater Master Plan text has been modified to address the comments that were received. And these comments and the resulting plan modifications are outlined in the final appendix in the final version that's been presented to you tonight. I do want to note that this is not the end of the process. It's actually the painful beginning. So you'll see written recommendations, very specific recommendations throughout the plan. We have capital improvement recommendations, anywhere from tens of thousands to millions of dollars that we're going to have to take a look at and plan for, determine what is a high priority for this community and who we need to seek help for and from to pay for some of those.
Are there grants involved or
There-
potential of grants?
Absolutely, there will be grants. There will be partnerships and grants, so we might have to apply with the county or with another agency, but we will certainly chase the money as best we can to pay for these. And again, it's not a 2-year, it's a 5, 10, 20-year process. Unfortunately, on the 2006 Stormwater Management Plan had a list not as deep, but as technical and as expensive as this one. And we didn't do very much, so that it didn't go away. So now we have that list. Now we're planning on doing a capital improvement plan to bring before you, and we're going to start to show you how we can start nibbling away at this overall list. But it's very important that we do. We have to show that we're addressing some of these smaller issues all the way to the bigger issues. The plan also includes stormwater policy recommendations, and that's where I'm going to be busy after this. And then you will be in turn, because I'll be bringing ordinances and different regulations for you to consider in changing and incorporating into our land development code, our stormwater code, and other sections. There's a specific recommendation for creating a stormwater chapter where we talk about these issues in detail and how we handle it and how we require the development community to handle it.
So on that note, I got it because one of my questions was around that. So is this going to be this will be a standalone section and a standalone ordinance for stormwater, or is it going to be just mixed throughout the land development code?
Well, currently it's mixed, and
Right.
what it's recommending is a standalone, but I suspect that we'll still maintain some of the pieces in the land development code, just so the development community can find it easily. But that's something we're gonna have to take a look at with our village attorney and maybe even continued work with V3 to figure out how we best handle this. So if you looked at, there's a long table of different things we need to change regarding development, maintenance, and so on. So I'll be going through all those with you in the coming months. I figure this is going to be another I love stormwater. This is going to be that we're going to be doing this over the next 6 to 12 months at least. I don't envision, as we're going through the chapter 18 section this summer, I don't envision doing a lot of this. We're going to do some of it, and then we're going to have to come back to those. These will be detailed things we'll have to come back to later. There's also a section in there that makes recommendations for inspection and enforcement enforcement. It's one thing to require a bunch of stuff. You have to actually follow through and keep an eye on it. So we're going to have to take a look at that. If we do put it in the code to do enforcement, we're going to have to make sure that we have the staffing and resources to take care of that, or at least a process. Our town engineer, IMEG, is actually already in depth in doing that with our current development projects. This will just be an update to what they're looking for out in the field. So I'm not so worried about that, but we need to make sure our codes are written in a way that are proper. You're smiling at me, and it's making me very uncomfortable. Sorry. And then region-wide coordination, Councilor Kimball, that's the biggest points. We have to be working with our neighbors because we have to be pulling funding together. We have to be addressing these issues as a region, not as a one-off here just in Monument. A lot of our stormwater issues are coming from other unincorporated lands or other watersheds. So we have to be working with everyone from here down to Pueblo. So and that actually keys right into one of your objectives anyway. So we'll make sure that that's taken care of. So tonight I'm asking for adoption of Resolution 35, 2026, which is a resolution adopting the 2026 Stormwater Master Plan as an approved component of the town's comprehensive plan. As I said, Noah's here done. You don't want to ask Noah any questions?
No, I have some questions.
Okay.
It's like you
Yeah, we need to change
I
one.
see him behind you. You referenced somebody. I was looking around going, who talking to?
Thanks, Noah.
Sure. Good evening, members of the town council. And I know we had a little bit of a snafu last time we were doing our presentation, so I appreciate your patience with us and happy to answer any questions you have from a technical perspective.
Okay. So on the code enforcement part of it that you were talking about earlier, so and water coming from other areas. So other areas would also be considered Tri-View Metro District. Is that correct? So are we going to establish some type of because a lot of these points in here where there were failures, so to speak, came out of Tri-View.
Yeah, and I would add, Dan mentioned the 2006 study that was primarily focused on Dirty Woman Creek and Crystal Creek. It didn't even look at Jackson Creek at all. So this was the first time that we've evaluated Tri-View, Jackson Creek, and those watersheds.
I saw the list of recommendations and they're substantial. So, we need as many partners in on this thing as we can get.
I guess the short answer is yes. And we are at the beginning stages of trying to coordinate between my department and Triview and our Public Works and Triview on who's responsible for inspections, specific maintenance, causes of problems and so on. It's not going to be an easy conversation because it's going to be an expensive conversation. But our IGA is very clear that Triview is responsible for the stormwater management and maintenance of the stormwater management facilities within the Triview district. So it's going to be a hard conversation, but we've got the information from the plan. Our town engineer, our town inspector, our town engineering inspector are very familiar with what's going on in the Triview area and in our area, which has got a lot of the similar problems too. So. We're all going to have to come together to figure that out, and that conversation's already begun.
So, and as part of this, we talked about this a few years ago, but we have lot coverage maximums, but we don't have impervious area coverage maximums. So that should be a part of this, I would think. Is there anything in here? I didn't see anything in here on limiting impervious surfaces.
Well, there is discussion about impervious surfaces, but I think the policy statement, the policy that you're talking about is something that we definitely have to take a look at. We'll continue talking about that during the comprehensive plan. And then as I'm bringing back the chapter 18 after the comprehensive plan, I'll bring chapter 18 back in front of you and with some policy changes or policy recommendations. And one might be that we have a lot coverage standard that includes impervious surface. That was actually something that I noticed when I got here, that the only thing that we're counting is the building, but you can pave the rest of the lot.
Right.
That's going to change land rights quite a bit though. So we have to be careful with that and understand what people's expectations are. But we might also have to balance some other type of stormwater management practices. If you do want to cover this much, you're going to do the following. So, but I don't have an answer for that today, but we will later.
Single family residential, that's an easy fix because there's no expectation of paving the entire lot. And so and there's no detention ponds for each house. I mean, there might be one for the whole entire development, but that changes if everybody went in there and added all kinds of concrete. So to me, that's not really a land rights thing. That wouldn't be like a shopping center.
Oh, and I wasn't speaking of a taking. It's just,
Okay.
It's just specifically what I can do with my property as an owner. And what I feel, I mean, I should be able to pull my car up, or I can have AstroTurf that covers so much, and I know some of that's already being handled through state law. I just want to make sure that we're having that understanding with the results of our policy change. I think it's a smart one. I think that we should be protecting impervious surfaces on single family lots as well as commercial and other lots too. And right now the code doesn't have a definition for that. So we'll be bringing that back.
And then I saw one thing in there that I was a little bit surprised to see was detention facilities and water rights issues. Is that a real thing?
Absolutely, it's a real thing. There's a drain time requirement through the state. All the water that lands within that detention facility has to drain out in 72 hours. That is the drain time. Now, typically 40 hours is the time limit that is designed by engineers because that's the time it takes mosquitoes to breed. So that's another drain time.
Oh, right.
Is that associated with evaporation charges as well?
Yep.
So,
oh.
Right, we were just talking about that the other day. So
Just went
if you
through this
have a lake, you might be paying a fee for the water that's evaporating.
Right. Okay, that's all I had.
Anything? Anybody? All
Yes.
right. No.
Questions? I
Lost
had
your
one comment.
seats.
No, I want to make a comment. I actually did read the entire document, geez, 900, I don't know how many pages it was, but I really, really, really appreciate the amount of technical work and long range planning that went into the update.
Right.
So stormwater is, and Steve, I think understands this as well, is something that it's one of those systems, that the public rarely notices until we have a problem, right? So I appreciate that the plan, provides a structured roadmap, I think, in addressing both existing deficiencies and future growth impacts. I think that's great. And I really appreciate the effort to prioritize projects and create a more proactive framework rather than what we've been doing for, I think, 20 years now, which is a purely reactive approach to stormwater management. So this is wonderful. I do have a couple questions. The first one was, and this is purely for clarification, I think, but to what extent does the plan ensure that new development bears the proportional cost of additional stormwater burden rather than the existing taxpayers?
Okay, so let me answer that. It does not. The plan does, the plan is a guidebook to you to make decisions and policy decisions and code decisions. So what I'll be doing is be coming back to you with some, with code changes, structures and so on that are based on what we learned in the plan. But the plan does not codify anything that would, as you would describe. It just provides recommendations. That'll be your responsibility to adopt regulations and policies and fees to ensure that the resident is or the development pays its way and residents pay their share as existing property owners.
Awesome. Awesome. I just want to make sure we're going to address that moving forward.
No one wants to add one more thing.
Yeah.
I might add that, as we've done a lot of inspections on some of these facilities, there are some opportunities I think we identified in the plan where there may be a master developer developing upstream, that it may be their responsibility to bear a proportionate share of the cost of some downstream improvements. So that is in the plan.
Awesome. No, I
So to
appreciate
that
that.
point, I want to make sure, since you brought up our surrounding neighboring agencies and whatnot, anybody who's doing development of the stormwater system and the mitigation, we want to make sure the town is not going to be on the hook liability wise for downrange damage. We are all very sensitive to USAFA and the 12 miles of Monument Creek that go through it and what's happened to much bigger municipalities than us. What we cannot have is a metro district of any name or size or any developer causing the damage and the town get the blame and the brunt of the legal part of it.
Well, and I would say on a proactive approach is now we have the data and the information in one document. Now it's our chance to use it. So as we're seeing these developments being considered outside of our borders that would have an impact on us, we have the information now that we could bring to the table to the county or others to defend the community or make sure that development does pay its share. And then on the other side, it gives us the opportunity now to rip a page out of this plan, just like I described with the comprehensive plan, and apply for that grant. And even maybe reach out to someone downstream to say, we're going to do this, but we need your help. We need to work together on this. And so there's many ways to use this document, but the key element is we have to use it.
Perfect. So the other kind of comment, just awareness question I had, and I love the attention to capital improvement projects in the plan. We always give those a lot of attention, and my question really is, what is the estimated long-term maintenance obligation associated with those recommended infrastructure improvements? So in other words, I just want to make sure that we're planning ahead for those ongoing maintenance costs in addition to the cost of the capital improvement itself. Does that make sense?
I think that's going to be a great question during the CIP or the capital improvement planning process, but there is a section in the plan that talks about maintenance of facilities and already starts tying the cost to those. I think this is going to be a conversation between staff and you as council when we do come before you with a capital improvement plan, that we're showing you the cost of the improvement and the long range cost for maintaining that improvement. We have lots of improvements that have been put in the past that well, I shouldn't say us. There's stuff that CDOT's put in under the highway that we wish they maintained and did better.
Right. Yeah.
And,
that's a great example, Dan.
They don't have the funding to take care of it. We don't want to put ourselves in that position as we're doing stormwater improvements. We want to make sure that the community can sustainably take care of those improvements in the long term, just as we would for roads or water or any other public infrastructure.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
I would also
great
add
work, guys. Really appreciate that.
Excellent.
Yeah, long term, I would hope that there's cost savings because a lot of times, you have undersized infrastructure, your roads are washing out, your culverts are washing out, you get a lot of debris clogged in some of those areas. I would think that in the long run, you're actually saving yourself on maintenance once you get the right facilities in place.
I would agree. I would agree. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Did you have anything?
No.
Okay. Anybody else have anything?
Thank you.
This won't be the end of this discussion with this gentleman and Andrew. They'll be back through as part of the Monument 2040 discussion. So
Great.
say so long, but not farewell.
Thank you
Thank
for
you so
the
much.
participating. I'll make the motion to approve resolution 35, 2026. Resolution adopting 2026 Stormwater Master Plan and approved component of the town's comprehensive plan.
Second.
And that passed 7-0. All right, next up, we have updating water standards and specifications. I have no idea what we're up against with this.
6,000 pages.
Is this a long presentation? Okay. Oh, I mean, because there was nothing in the packet about it
Right. It was just something we threw together
to,
pique your interest and look for some direction.
okay, let's discuss.
Okay, Tom Tharnes, Director of Public Works, here tonight to have a small discussion about what we call our Water Standards and Specification Manual. This manual was developed, best I can tell, back in 2007 into 2008. It was a combined effort between the town and Tri-View Metro District. And this manual is what all developers utilize to plan for their project as it relates to developing water infrastructure needed to support their project, such as water main extensions, installing water vaults, types of acceptable fire hydrants, water valves, fittings, backflow devices, and material needed for service lines that run to the houses. Let's see. There were several instances where we field calls from builders as they're going through their process regarding types of material used, for example, for service line installations to houses. Our current standards call for copper lines, and a few years ago, we made some decisions to get away from copper because of issues we were having with the lines that run from houses to our water mains where they connect. Those fittings were failing because they were flared copper fittings and they corrode over time. So we shifted to a more standard that's more common in the industry, what we call SIDR7. It's just a thickened poly type line, which has a longer life and doesn't corrode. And so there were some revisions that were made to the manual several years ago, and we've just gotten quite a few of them now that we need to look at updating the whole manual. Another example is in that manual, it talks about acceptable locations to install water meters. And again, several years ago, we made a change to put all new development water meters inside of the structures of the houses. It used to be that in the old downtown area, you'll notice we have tons of water meters that are in meter pits outside the house. And over the years, on a cold winter, no matter how well they insulate those, sooner or later, the plates on the bottom of these water meters freeze. Then we have a leak and we have to go in and replace and rebuild the existing meters. So now when we get into the ground floor of a development coming up, we have to make sure that the meters are put in the interior of the houses. Again, that's a change that would be, it's part of this update. The update is needed to modernize the current engineering practices, operational preferences, regulatory requirements, expected growth conditions, and long-term infrastructure objectives. The project is going to be divided into 5 separate tasks: project management coordination, existing standards review and gap analysis,
stake water coordination technical workshops, a draft water system standards update, and then a final review of that final draft and then final revisions. Project will also include current checklists that are attached to the original manual, which is what people would use out in the field when they go to inspect a water line, a water main, fire hydrant installation, things like that. A lot of these just need to be updated because the industry has shifted in a lot of those infrastructure projects. The project is needed to ensure we are utilizing the latest regulatory standards for design and installation of water infrastructure whenever the town's requesting or referencing what the town's requesting from developers when water infrastructure is needed for their project, which is almost always the case. Project is expected to take approximately 6 months to complete, and our engineering estimate from the town's engineer is $55,410. That project will be funded out of the Water Enterprise Fund. And I did pay some calls to neighboring districts. I have not heard back whether they want to do a combined effort on that. I know that Woodmont Water could be operating under a different set of specs than us, and the same with Triview, but as soon as I get some information back, we have the town engineer on board. We just need to put together a resolution and then bring that to you for approval because of the amount of cost involved. But other than that, that's all I have for you tonight, unless you have any questions.
I have one major question. Water standards and specifications, are these standards that are statewide, federal, local? What are they? And I'm assuming that if they're state or whatever, that all the other entities also are having to comply with them. Yes, no?
There are some standards that come from AWWA, which is the National American Water Works Association. There are some that are put out in accordance with the state CDPHE regulations, but there are some that are relative to the local areas, depending on, for example, the altitude that we're at. We require water mains to be a depth different than, say, Pueblo does, just because our ground freeze is a little deeper. So yes, I guess the answer is yes. All local things would apply, regional efforts would apply, state, and then the overall half of this manual is design cutout sheets for PRV vaults and for types of fittings and how thrust blocks, things that hold the pipe in place, are all put in place. So it would be updating to the latest standards that are put out normally by AWWA, and they're also following Denver Water and Colorado Springs Utilities because they're the big industry people in our state.
Thank you.
How often are these standards updated statewide and nationally?
From what I can tell, these standards typically are updated about every 20 years. They can be done sooner, but the industry for water doesn't change as quickly as, say, roadway standards do, which we just went through a month ago.
Okay. Comments, questions? So you'll be bringing some stuff back to us
Yes, we'll,
Okay.
we'll be bringing back a resolution with
to allow you
a
to
little
do
more
the study.
information.
Okay. So
So,
there'll be stuff in the packet?
Yes.
Okay.
Put as
this
much in that
question-
packet as you like.
Just enough.
Basic.
so I have one question that's probably directed towards Dan. Is this something that would be, since it's development related, is there any kind of way we could reimburse this over time through development applications?
I think we're going to be coming back before you with a recommendation for fee structures. We can certainly take a look at that as putting those kind of costs into the fee structure over a long period of time. Possibly, yeah,
Okay.
that we could. This is a really important document. I know Tom touched upon the fact that the development community is looking for this guidance. We want to be able to hand them a book, this manual, just like the road improvement, the road design manual that we're doing now. be able to hand this to them as well. So there is no question of what our expectations are. We're also going to be using this to help bring the Metro District and other water service groups together so that we're using similar standards, similar language, because that's one of the issues that I hear about from the development community is that you're different. We're not really that different. We're still bringing water from one place to the other. We just need to try to unify that, and I think we could do that through a fresh document.
Great, thank you.
So Tom, quickly, you said it's 6 months. Are you planning on bringing us something before the end of the year?
Oh, yes, it will. If we can get it together, it might be in either the June 1st or June 15th. First meeting in July would be the latest.
Okay, thank you.
Because they're pretty much, we have an existing manual. We have a engineer's estimate of scope of services and everything already from the town engineer.
Oh, good.
So it's just a matter of bringing it to you once we get information from the neighboring districts, if they're gonna combine our efforts or not.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
One other little tidbit I'll add, just because I always found it kind of odd, is I don't know if you're aware of it, Colorado Springs Utilities, all of their fire hydrants, they open right. And everybody else opens left. So when fire guys show up, that's why they have a tool that fits both types of hydrants for that. Colorado Springs is a square nut that part of that wrench fits on and opens totally opposite than everybody else. But that's spelled out in our manual.
What the heck was this town thinking?
So. Well, we're not different. Springs Utilities is different.
Okay, thanks, Tom.
Thank you, Tom.
Appreciate it. Next up, our favorite future agenda item authorization. Madeline. Anything special?
Request from the public to extend the public hearing or the public review portion of our roadway design standards manual. That should have ended on May 15th, and we've had requests to extend that through June 30th since it is such a large document. So then that would mean we would bring that back to council on July 20th.
These are citizens asking, or is this specific groups?
I know we've had mostly development that's been asking to extend the review period.
What's typical?
I'm not sure what's typical. It's a rather large document. Dan agreed that it should be something that we could extend.
Okay. But the public review is the request to extend it is not coming from regular residents, but the development community.
Primarily the development community, yes. But a well-vetted document's going to serve us more, or serve us well. They understand, if we're talking about the development community specifically, they understand just by asking for changes doesn't mean they're going to get them. They just want the opportunity to go through them with us and have an understanding of what they are. And again, by the time, just similar to the stormwater plan, when we come to you with the updated manual, it'll be a clean manual that we know will serve us long into the future.
And if you're going to make changes, I would like the council to be made aware of what those changes are and the reasons why they're being changed.
Similar to what you saw in the appendices for the stormwater master plan, we'll do the same thing in the back of this where we show the comments that were received, how we addressed them and where they were addressed in the code, or if they weren't addressed because we did not agree to them. So
okay,
we'll show that to you.
For the record, I got my comments in on time.
He did, and I'll confirm that.
That's sort of the point. I mean, if he can get it done, why can't a whole team of developers get it done? They've got staff to do this. That's what they do.
They have a committee that actually meets at the end of the month, and that committee is meeting earlier now to get the work done. They also wanted an opportunity to talk to us between now and when the packet went out to you. Again, I think in this case, this is a pretty big document to just and it's got a lot of details. It's going to have a lot of impact on our community and long into the future. So the more we can vet it, the less we'll be fighting about it later.
Okay.
The second item is a request from the Planning Commission. We had originally talked about a joint workshop on June 8th or June 10th, and they would like to remove that to July 8th because the chair of the Planning Commission will not be available on June 10th.
Okay. Anybody have a problem with that?
Nope.
Are you in Italy?
Yes.
Well, no, he
Yeah,
would
no,
be,
we're-
he would
hold
actually be
on.
back for
Oh,
it. So you would be able to attend July 8th. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, then we're good.
Madeline?
I'll find something. Hang on.
We'll be in the Bahamas then.
Yes. How'd you know?
Nice.
Next.
I just wanted to throw in there that you'll be receiving a survey from me in preparation for that workshop. It's a list of questions that the Plan Commission came up with. And then they'll get the response to those questions at the same time that you do for your discussion at the workshop. So you should be getting that probably tomorrow. I
And
just
the
wanted to wait
workshop-
for tonight.
Will be during the day. You know, that's concerts in the park day.
I can talk to our Plan Commission. We'll see. I like the concerts too, so.
Yeah, we talked, I think this came up. and
Yeah.
I think staff knows that we prefer not to miss concerts in the park. But it would-
But this planning commission, right?
It would be during a regularly scheduled planning commission meeting, but we can talk to planning commission about another date.
okay.
Do they meet on Wednesdays?
They
do.
meet on every Wednesday.
Could we do it at the concert?
Every other.
They meet the second Wednesday of every month at 6 p.m. And our, another item is, I sent you an email this afternoon, asking, we have a request from a company who would like to apply for a grant to Colorado Parks and Wildlife to track bears. They need a community that would be sort of in support of that, and I believe they would be doing the research here in Monument area. So they were looking for a letter of support, not funding, but just a letter of support from the town council.
I'd like for you to read Santa's response.
I
We-
will let her
we-
decide.
I love Senate's response. I think it should be totally put into the record, but
I'm good with it.
As
We
long
have a
as there's-
bear that likes to hang out in our neighborhood.
it's ancestry.com for bears.
Oh,
Yeah.
perfect.
It's
that's
really
excellent.
what it is. They're gonna.
No
track
rap sheet
DNA.
involved.
I don't have, as long as they don't come back asking for money,
Yeah.
because this is not a good use of taxpayer money to track bears' DNA.
Correct. They would be asking for a grant from Colorado Parks and
Yeah, but
Wildlife.
there's a match.
The match is coming from the company.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it.
Okay. So that their grant request is coming up pretty quickly. So we'll ask the mayor to come in and sign that letter.
Woo, okay.
And then one other item, we'll be putting out a RFP for a water attorney, not because we're losing our water attorney, but because at some point we will need a new water attorney. So once that is out, we will need 2 council members to serve on a committee to review those. And then that would be brought back to council for approval throughout however that process ends up working out. But and you don't have to decide tonight, but it's something to be aware of that we're hoping will go out in the next couple of weeks. So if you want to volunteer or send me an email or decide tonight, we'll be looking for 2 committee members.
Okay.
I would love to do that.
She said not tonight,
I want tonight.
Chad. Okay, any other,
Those are the only items that I had for you, Mr.
Okay.
Mayor.
then you're up again. Next up is the reports, your town manager monthly report, which again was spectacular.
Thank you. Staff does an amazing job putting all this information together, and you can see that we're very busy. There is a lot happening right now. I did want to thank our Public Works, Andrew and Portia, for coordinating a great Arbor Day event. We had a lot of vendors there this year. I think that is going to look bigger in the future. So I appreciate everyone who was able to come out for that. We had another successful event earlier in April as well with Mountain View Electric. We had Mulch Madness. And I know that took a lot of work with our Public Works Department as well. So they volunteered to work on a Saturday to help with that event. And we also partnered with the Monument Fire District as well for that. And thank you for those that were able to come and help clean up trash for the Great American Cleanup. We had a beautiful day, lots of trash, old Christmas tree that was found was kind of our unique find for the day.
Really?
Yeah, somebody had, I don't know where it was found, somewhere near the trail, but base and all.
Wish I had put that down. Was gonna-
Staff has also been working really hard on our ADA transition plan. Laura Hogan has been working to become trained in as an ADA coordinator. And when we've put together our committee. So that again is a long-term plan. So we'll be adding projects to capital improvement projects and again, applying for grants to help us improve not only infrastructure to ensure we're meeting all ADA guidelines, but also digital as well. There's a community survey that has gone out regarding use tax to the community. We've already begun working on the 2027 budget and looking at healthcare options we've been holding roundtables amongst staff. PD has been busy hiring staff to fill some vacancies that they have. Public Works has been preparing for every weather condition you can imagine. Snow, rain, summer.
That was just this week.
And that was just today. Water has been working on some compliance sampling for the new water wells, and then they also issued the consumer confidence report out to the public. And they also issued compliance notices for the backfill prevention, which customers will have to set up an appointment to have that inspected. And they collaborated with other water districts to test the water in our lab, which was a good use of our lab and also a training opportunity for our staff as well. So appreciate the collaboration in that department. Connie's been working on a lot of updates to our GIS maps, and we've been seeing increased activity to our maps page. As you can tell, planning has been very busy with several new projects, and as you will see in the coming months as those projects come forward from Planning Commission to the council. We've been evaluating grants and other funding for the Jackson Creek Parkway project. Portia and our Parks Department has been preparing for our Memorial Day event that we hold next Monday at 10 a.m. in the cemetery. So I hope a lot of you are able to join us for that, unless you're in Italy or Hawaii. Portia's also been working on our summer concert series that kicks off June 3rd. So here coming up soon. And all departments have been working on preparation for the 4th of July festivities coming up. And Parks and Streets have been working on various repairs around town as well. So those are just a few of the highlights, but I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have had from the actual report.
Great report as
Yeah.
always.
You guys are really doing a great job with those reports. Chad, anything you'd like to add?
Super excited about the water department's new truck. I am that, and I just wanted to mention, I know you guys are having a rough weather week back there. Just wanted to point out that today the temperature where I'm at was more than double what it was. The high was more than double what the high in Monument was today. It was 97 here today.
You can disconnect him anytime.
There otherwise.
Yeah.
Don't worry, what we're getting right now, you'll see in about 2 days.
That is correct, in the form of 60s.
Okay. Council comments. Bless you. Go ahead.
I have a thank you to our mayor who participated in the Silver Key Expo panel alongside Mayor Thompson from Fountain and the Director of Health and Human Services.
She was definitely the health
Yes.
representative.
Yes, and Mayor Yemi showed up, not on the panel, but he walked around and shook hands, et cetera, but it was a well attended, and the mayor did a great job representing Monument. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. I don't think I did that great of a job, but I appreciate your comments. So what I would like for council to, if staff could put this together for us, there were some programs that I had not been made aware of, and Mayor Thompson stood me up and showed off the Blue Envelope Program, which we apparently have up here. I confirmed with Chief. I think that would be great for us all to know about the Blue Envelope, as well as any other programs that are geared towards the aging community. And so we know what things are up here, especially given that on that day, the final approval was granted to Silver Key for 2 acres of land along Jackson Creek Parkway that are gifted to Silver Key by Classic Homes for their community center. So given that they are going to have a permanent home, and they will probably be starting a capital improvement fundraiser for that, we probably should know a little bit more about what services and programs are available to our retired and aging population up here, because we're not getting younger.
You're pointing fingers.
I wasn't pointing any fingers. Okay, any other council comments? No, all right, then I will move that we go into executive session pursuant to CRS 24-6-4024B to receive legal advice from the town's legal counsel regarding compensation options and analysis for town council and planning commission members.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
Are you guys gonna adjourn before or are we coming back?
I don't know if we're adjourning, so we will come back into open session. And that, I'm sorry, Tina.
It won't be,
It won't be late. It's that passed 7-0, and we thank everybody for coming out tonight.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank
We
you.
will take a quick recess and set up for exec session. Okay, we have reconvened from executive session and we have no actions to take or direction to provide. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Yes.
Aye.
All in favor?
Yes.
We're adjourned.